to A Pinch of Basile. I am your host, Basile, that's right. Rosemary and Herb's son. If you're joining us on Facebook, thank you so much. But don't forget, you can also call in at 844-790-8255. That's 844-790-8255. Besides our live stream on Facebook, you can listen online at americamatters.us. That's right. And on the TuneIn app. From your phone or tablet, just search America Matters. You don't have any excuse for not listening or watching us. None. You can ask my wonderful co-host, Janice Hermson. Janice, is there any excuse for them not to be watching or listening?
Absolutely not. No, no.
And I love my wonderful co-host. And, of course, we couldn't do this without our awesome engineer who just showed his prowess on how to do how to connect us. And that's, let me be quite honest with you. He did fantastic. He really did. He contacted every Basile that we knew until he got to me. And I think that's fantastic.
He did a great job.
He did. Of course, Basile Mercedes, our last week's guest, is wondering, what the hell do you want from me now? Okay, but it's okay. As long as we got it straight. And it's wonderful. Anyway, with our wonderful Craig Moss, they're both broadcasting live from the studio in Reno, Nevada, and I am in my studio here in Wilmington, North Carolina, in a very secret location. So forget that Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's secret, real secret.
Yeah, and I'll never tell. But you can always find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram at Basile Fans, BASILEFANS, Basile Fans on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. And we're here every week on Tuesdays from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those people over in Australia, over in the UK, all over the world, South Africa, where you're listening to me. Canada, it's New York City time. Just think of New York City. That's the same time zone that we're in. We have amazing guests and topics and tons of fun in our show. Today, I'm really looking forward to my guest, Adrianne Roy, who is a beautiful, talented, wonderful author and producer. I'm very, very excited to have her on the show. I've known her for probably about 5 years now, and she had a best-selling book called Do You Know Who I Am? And it's just a fantastic story that basically, it goes ahead and it tells people about what it was like in the Second World War. I'm turning my phone off. I'm sorry. About people who came and immigrated to the Second World War to help rebuild the UK, London especially, through the bombings of the various blitzes that the Germans did during the Second World War. And she talked about how her family came from Cyprus. So all you Cypriots out there who are watching, listen to this. This is a fantastic story. I read the script for her film. Very, very funny. And she's going to be producing that very, very shortly as well. And so I just want to make sure that everyone is listening right now. And again, to be quite honest with you, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. I got my Janice, I don't know if I told you this or not, but we already have all of our dates set up, and I will be making a live appearance in Reno, Nevada.
Ooh.
I will be in Reno, Nevada. I will also be doing my show live from the studio. How do you think about that?
Oh, we just don't know how to act.
I know. It's, and I'm sure Craig will call a Basile Mercedes and say, hey, aren't you supposed to be here? And Basile will be driving in Washington going, what the hell do you want from me? Wrong Basile again. Okay, nonetheless. So let me go ahead and tell you about the dates that I'm doing this weekend. Very busy weekend. I'm going to be in Chicago on Friday, May 3rd at St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church for a concert. These shows, believe it or not, are just about sold out. Everything is gone. But in case they want to add some more tables, they said they have to go and rent some tables and chairs and all that stuff. Call 773-561-5992. That's at St. Demetrius, Chicago, Illinois, Saturday, May 4th. I'll be in Syracuse. That's right, back in the Cuse, Orangeman country at St. Sophia's. Call 315-395-3842. Sunday, I'll be in Lynn, Massachusetts at St. George's. Please call 781-249-8759 for the Cinco de Mayo Greek-style show that we'll be having. And then Perth Amboy in New Jersey. I'll be at St. Demetrius. Call them because I heard that show's gone crazy. 732-826-4466. I always tell people, after the Easter holiday, it's always a little bit crazy. And to be quite honest with you, I'm really excited about the Easter. And by the way, for all the Greek Orthodox Christians that are out there, happy Easter, Christos Anesti to everyone who is out there. Fun time. As you probably saw, Janice, my beautiful Easter dance that I'm sure you saw.
I did.
It's actually a beautiful thing to see. When the Easter dance is done correctly.
That depends on who's watching.
Really? Is this the way we're going to go this night? Is this
Absolutely.
Is this the way we're going to be? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. You listen. It takes a certain amount of guts.
The guts is
and
it.
Talent.
Guts. Lots of guts.
I play it, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. But the thing is, it was hysterical. And my youngest daughter was playing piano. My eldest was filming, and she goes, "Dad, just dance." And I started dancing, and I didn't know she was filming me until the end. And then I realized, no clue. We had no clue. And then I started doing my thing, and I just broke off. And of course, my daughter, my youngest one, screwed up, and she said she screwed up, but she didn't use that exact word. She said something else.
She said something else, even on Easter. Oh,
yeah, even on well. Listen. It was a very difficult Easter for us. I couldn't eat meat. Look, I withered away to nothing.
I know.
See this?
I saw that. Yes.
And
nothingness.
Nothingness. And I got to be honest with you. I'm going. I have to start my little diet because we're going to start filming in late June.
Ooh.
And so I have to lose 50 pounds. So we're going to be on the quest of losing 50 pounds within a 2-month period. Not going to be the easiest thing in the world. And I'm not really looking forward to it. And but I get to have some steak. That's the only thing I want to eat.
Are you doing the carb thing, the low carb thing?
No. Actually, it works for me. I'm not making a commercial for them in any way. But Weight Watchers actually does it. It takes it off of me real quick, and I don't get hungry or anything like that. And it's been good. I mean, I used to do the high protein thing, but you can only eat so much meat. You can only eat so much, things. So I wound up actually going ahead and doing something that I think is the healthier alternative. And so I'm pretty happy with that.
All right. Well, we got to wrap this.
Do we really?
We do.
I don't even see.
Time.
How much time?
You're over.
How much time do I have?
You're way over.
Am I really?
You are.
Okay, listen, I'm sorry. I didn't have the clock in front of me.
It's okay.
Again, evidently, Basile Mercedes got that clock. Hey, we'll be right back after these messages, folks. So stick around. More of A Pinch of Basile.
Here on America Matters.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now, back to the show.
Oh, we are indeed back. You're listening to Basile all around the world. You can go to our TuneIn app, radio app, and find America Matters, or listen live every week at americamatters.us. It's really easy. Folks, come on. Even I can do it. Maybe. Depends what day it is.
I was going to say, I'm not sure about you.
If you miss any part of our show, you'll find them under the podcast, under the site A Pinch of Basile, or on Facebook on Basile Fans page. That's right. If you are on Basile Fans, we'll be getting on to you. We're taking questions. We're going all over the place. And I got to be honest with you. You can text us. You can go ahead and call in. We have a tremendous guest, Adrianne Roy, who's just simply beautiful, but she's an extremely talented lady who actually wrote a bestseller book, and it's on Amazon.com. You can get it from there as well. But you can also text us. What is that text number, Janice?
That would be 775-237-2266.
Text us with any questions. You can catch us right now live on Facebook on Basile Fans on Facebook. Ask any questions if you're listening or whatever. And then, folks, the other thing is, to be quite honest with you, we're also going to go ahead and find out. Janice and I will be discussing that exactly where we're going to park all of our segments that we already have.
We are going to discuss that. Yes, we are.
Yeah, yes, we are. We're going to have great guests that are coming on. Katarina, who is the number one pole vaulter in the world. She'll be coming on with us. We also have Mike Emanuel from Fox News. He'll be joining us. Stratton Leopold will be joining us, producer extraordinaire. Last big thing he did was Mission Impossible 3. Some of the guests that we have are just simply outstanding.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, actually, listen, we've been blessed of having the great guests that we have and the sense of humor that they have to actually being part of this show. And then, once in a while it's pulling teeth, when they find out who's your engineer? Greg Moss. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we're excited, I guess, coming onto the show.
Well, maybe we'll do it, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll see what we can do.
See what we can do.
But I'm really excited about all the stuff that's going on, and I guess you and I have a couple of conversations we got to go ahead and do because we got to figure where we're parking all this stuff, and hopefully we can figure that out in the next couple of days, and put all the episodes in because we need to get that done and finished and finalized because there's a lot of people who are asking about various guests. The one guest who pops up, people want to find out about the segment that we did with Calomira in the beginning.
Yes.
Remember that segment?
Yes.
With Calomira, Carol, very sweet girl, phenomenal superstar throughout Europe and Greece, of course. Great singer extraordinaire. And, of course, we have Costa Koufos, the basketball player who plays for Sacramento Kings.
Yep.
Yeah, Sacramento Kings. And people want to hear that interview again. So I know that y'all want to hear all these various interviews. So we want to polish up, make it look nice and clean. And then for those of you who are sick and tired of this beautiful background that I have, Craig calls it my packing. What is a packing blanket? I don't know what you're talking.
Your U-Haul packing blanket. Your U-Haul furniture blankets.
Ah, that's what it is. A furniture blanket. Yes.
Yes. Is there any way that we can mute Craig from now on?
No, but he can mute you, so be careful.
I love Craig. Anyway.
I knew that's where you were going.
Yeah. So we're going to have a nice little design up there by next week. It's been ordered. And this way you guys can see all the numbers and everything and where to get a hold of us. I'm really excited about it. I truly am. And you are the reason why you make this show fun. So all the people, anyone on there right now, Janice? Anyone saying hello to me?
Well, I'm having my own share of computer problems. But yes, there were a couple of people on before I got phased out a little bit. So, yeah, we got a few people going.
Okay, good. Well, they're going to watch evidently later on. So, and I want y'all to call in. I really do. It's important for not only for me. I want to hear what you all have to say. 844-790-8255. Call in. You can also email me anytime you want at info@Basile Live. That's info@BASILELIVE.com. Janice, you and I were going through some stuff last week that we didn't really get a chance to finish up on. It's all these vacations and different people going to different places and everything, which I think is fantastic. But did you know, not only was I doing my little dance on the video thing that I did you know it's International Dance Day?
I happen to know that, yes.
And I wanted the people to see my dancing prowess.
On International Dance Day? You didn't even know it was International Dance Day until I told you. Come on.
Oh, contraire.
Come on.
Contraire. I knew it was. Are you kidding me?
No,
Did you see the way Did you see the way I was dancing, floating like a butterfly, floating like a butterfly? I dainty is that.
Like the ballet dancers, right?
As a prima ballerina.
Yeah.
I was dainty.
Modern ballet, I'll bet.
My toes are sore as hell. That's all I'm going to say.
I was trying to figure out how you got your foot up that high behind you.
Again, is there any way that we can mute Craig Moss? Really, Craig? I thought I did a very nice job, to be quite honest with you. I thought I was beautiful. I think my moves were deliberate.
I even went on Instagram, and all of a sudden, here's this video popping up at me on Instagram. I was like, oh, my God, I can't get away from this.
It's true. But when you have a talent like mine, shouldn't it be shared with everyone around the world?
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Should it not be shared around the world? Let everyone get a pinch of basil. on whatever day it may be.
You had a good number of views on that. You had a few there. So
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was
it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
The ridiculously of the whole entire thing, if you will. I actually wound up, for my fans over in Australia, they're the ones who will let me know if it was beautiful. But you've read some of those comments. You think, and for all those who are watching right now and listening, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, you know, now that you've done that video, now you're going to have to, after you've lost your 50 pounds, you're going to have to do it again. Maybe do a side by side, you know?
I will do a side by side, and I will do it in a thong. Because I'm a giver.
I just don't know what to say to that.
I hope I'm blind before that happens.
Thanks, Craig. I just don't even know what to say.
I'm going to either that or a very high wedgie. I just haven't decided which one I'm going to do, but I'm going with the thong as of right now. I'm very excited about this.
No. Let me talk you out of it.
I also want to let people know, besides getting that vision of that thong out of your minds, it's International Jazz Day today.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually great information. I'll tell you what, we're joining the rest of the world in celebrating International Jazz Day with this 1959 image of the legendary trumpeter Louis Armstrong. Janice, show us that image, please.
If you go to Bing.com, you're going to see that image. That's all you have to do.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
And it'll be Louis Armstrong,
Yep.
Satchmo, as it were. Actually, I did not know some of this, that it started, I guess, in New Orleans.
Yep.
And it quickly spread through the United States before developing an international appeal and influence. On April 30th is designated by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations, UNESCO, as International Jazz Day to highlight, all the music and the role in cultures it has around the world, which I think is beautiful. I really do. You like jazz?
I do. I really do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Who's some of your jazz? I mean, do you like more of the contemporaries, some of the oldies?
Contemporary, really, more so than the oldies.
Yeah.
I'm not. I like all music, but jazz is one of my more favored. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love some of the stuff, some of the old stuff. I really do. But I got to be quite honest with you. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, Incognito, Mesa, the singer Mesa, who used to be with Incognito, she's on her own now. Swing Out Sister, even the old stuff and all the way through today. Swing Out Sister, just fantastic. I love jazz, R&B / jazz, if you will. Big supporter of that, and I think they do such a fantastic job. All the jazz musicians. I would always want to have my own jazz club called Sweet Basil's Cool Water Cafe. Isn't that a great name? Sweet Basil's Cool Water Cafe, where everyone walks around in a thong while serving you. It's a little visual for you people out there.
Craig is ready to cut your mic.
No, I'm trying to find the bleach wipe so I can wipe my eyeballs out. I'm trying to not see that.
It's difficult to do, but it is what it is, folks. That's right. Well, listen, folks, we're getting to that time again, and we're going to be bringing on our guest, Adrianne Roy, author of the book, Do You Know Who I Am? She'll be coming back. But first, we got to do these little messages and do our little sponsor thing. You are listening, indeed, to A Pinch of Basil. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ,
A Lotus broadcast station.
the power of radio since 1967.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now, back to the show.
Okay, we're back with A Pinch of Basil. Don't forget, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're having a little bit technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen, so just stand by. But we're back on A Pinch of Basil. Don't forget, I am streaming this live on Facebook. You can also listen on the TuneIn app or on any phone or device. Once you have the app, just search America Matters, and you're on your computer, or go to americamatters.us. If you want to comment, go to my Basile fans page on Facebook. If you have any questions for our guests, please give us a call at 844-790-8255, or you can also text. Janice, one more time with that text number.
Is 775-237-2266.
Great. Today, hopefully we can get her without any type of issue with technical issues. We have the author of Do You Know Who I Am? A very, very talented, beautiful lady who I've met years ago when I was on tour in London. And she had this wonderful book that she autographed and personalized for me. And she was helping me with a tour with a good friend of mine, Panny, who since passed away. But she remained a good friend, and we're very, very excited to have her. Adrianne, how are you, sweetheart?
No, you're not going to be able to have that conversation just yet. We have some audio difficulties. Her speakers are just feeding back instead of working out. So we're hoping that, Adrianne, if you can hear, you can give us a call at 844-790-8255, and hopefully that can work.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll tell you what, she wrote this wonderful book, and she's from Cyprus. And the Cypriots, they're always like, well, Cyprus is part of Greece. And although they do share a common language, which is Greek, but there's also Cypriot Greek. And just a tremendous amount of pride from these people. The Cypriots are just an unbelievable amount. And I tease them all the time because of the way they talk. They have their own kind of Greek lingo that's even difficult for me to sometimes understand, because it sometimes goes into and I'm like, what the hell did you just say? And they're like, and I say, okay, and they have different words for actual foods that they have, and one could be pastizo, which is that. Did you ever try pastizo, Janice?
No,
Pastizos,
but I think that I'm hoping that, Adrianne, are you there with us?
I'm on the phone. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, there you are.
Oh, there you are. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, sweetheart, that you're having issues trying to
Skype thing. As long as you can hear me.
Yeah, we can. And because we have a little bit of a delay, after I finish, I'll go ahead and actually talk to you. And then I'll give you time to go ahead and answer, and I won't interrupt you, I promise. But thank you so much for being part of the show. And I guess, like I said, I was telling all of our listeners and viewers that I've met you, this has got to be, 5-6 years ago now. And I was just so tickled, and you gave me an autographed book, and I read it, and I enjoyed it, and I read it again. And it was heartwarming because a lot of people don't know the hell that a lot of these immigrants that came to the UK to help rebuild London and the greater cities around in the UK that were destroyed by the Nazis of the Second World War. And a lot of them came from areas that were basically British colonies at one time, and Cyprus was one of them. And then you tell your story about how your family came and lived like a lot of immigrants here in the United States and Canada and all over the world, come into a different society, and you just wrote this beautiful book. Tell us about how you decide to go ahead and write this.
Well, thank you very much for having me on your show, first of all. I'm so honoured and really grateful to you. The book, I was inspired by my parents' generation, uncles, aunties. I'm very fortunate to have been raised by the most amazing, hard-working, generous, funny people. I've got a lot of time for that generation that left their villages and villages in Mediterranean countries, anywhere in the world, and left for a better life on a boat, hoping for a better life. No money in their pockets, no education, no language, that sort of thing. Got in a boat and went to a country. In my book's case, it happened to be England. And they turned up and found themselves in not the conditions they were expecting, cold, rainy, smoggy, cramped conditions. But they got on with their life. They found jobs. They worked many, many hours, sometimes 2 or 3 jobs at a time, cleaners, dishwashers in restaurants, whatever. They worked so hard, never complained, in a time when there was no technology, no nothing. And they got on with their lives, brought us all up and made a great life for them and for us. And I just wanted to honour them. These people are heroes to me. I was very honoured to be one of the people. And that was the reason. That was the motivation and the reason for the book.
They were heroes. Adrianne, to be quite honest with you, sweetheart, just for the fact that they took up the work that no one else wanted to do. And to actually see how these people came over and worked 2 or 3 jobs and worked sometimes 80 hours a week. And a lot of people goes, that's impossible. Yeah, well, not really. If you really think about it, I mean, even my mom, when she came over, worked a ton of hours, 60 hours just, scrubbing floors. And then to sit there and, do a couple of 9-hour shifts as a dishwasher on a Saturday and Sunday. And I know that your father, if I remember correctly, was a tailor, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. My father was a tailor. He worked in a factory like many other thousands of people that came over. And I'm not just talking about the Cypriots or the Greeks here. I'm talking about every nationality that's got an immigrant background. They all did the same thing. The Italians, the Jewish, the Jamaicans, every nationality did this. It's that generation. Right. And, my father was a tailor. My mum was also a machinist. I had uncles that worked in restaurants, started off as plate washers, were promoted to waiters, chefs, bought their own restaurants eventually. It was a process, really.
Yeah, to say the least.
Hard-working, decent people.
And I know that sometimes, it's difficult to live and I always tell people, to live in a conservative Greek and or Cypriot household in a wide open American society, or in your case, a UK society. And you were right at the height of when the Beatles were coming out and all this music, and everyone's wearing mini skirts and everything. How did that work out for you? Was there a culture clash that like there was in my home, or was everyone kind of copacetic with each other?
Gosh, no, there was definitely a culture clash. I mean, and we had a dual identity. We were Greek at home and English outside. If it wasn't bad enough, I was a female. Females, they weren't allowed out. They weren't allowed to do anything. So we had to fight with that as well. It was a struggle, and the book explains how a Western girl born to immigrant parents with dual nationality and identity struggled for independence against, a chauvinistic environment, a completely different culture. Hence the name of the book, Do You Know Who I Am? But it explains all of this. It explains what it was like being at school, how we used to, as a Greek girl, take a big lunchbox with us full of food, whereas the English girls would just have a cheese sandwich. We'd have half the kitchen contents in our lunchbox. Education, everything, religion, played a big part. I come from a very religious family, but we weren't growing up. We weren't that religious. We had to do whatever our parents told us to do.
Sure.
Otherwise we get told off. It was during the times when, it was very easy back then to pull your children's hair in the middle of the street if you weren't obeying. There was no social services in those days.
Yeah, those good old days. There was no child abuse back then.
It's funny. It wasn't funny at the time, growing up. But it's funny now looking back at it. That's all they knew. They knew that's the way they knew. That we had to follow that, and it was great fun. We had a wonderful upbringing. I can tell you some really funny stories of some of the things that we used to do to the English culture.
And I want to go ahead and hear some of these stories, and I'm sure that our listeners and viewers would want that as well. But I do have a question because I'm looking at our clock, and I have a stalled clock right now, and I don't know how much time we have.
Just about a minute.
Just about a minute. You know, the one thing we're going to get back, and talk to you about that, because you wrote not only a great book, you wrote an actual screenplay, and I was privy to it, and I'm very excited about the film that will be, hopefully coming out and actually produced shortly. And I want you to go ahead and discuss that when we come back to our next break. And I'm sorry about the technical issues, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get a look at what this beautiful woman looks like, Adrianne is simply an outstanding, gorgeous woman who is just extremely talented. A solicitor, that means she was an attorney, and she still is. I guess you're still an attorney, aren't you?
You're always once an attorney, you're always an attorney.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't practice at the moment, but yeah.
So we're going to be right back with more of that. You're listening to A Pinch of Basile. Stay tuned. A little message from our sponsors.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ,
A Lotus broadcast station.
the power of radio since 1967.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
So glad you can join us on Pinch of Basile. We are talking to Adrianne Roy. Thanks so much for joining us as well. And all of you for your comments on Facebook. Again, you can go to Basile Fans on Facebook, Basile Fans. You can call in right now at 844-790-8255. Thank you for the great comments. Adrianne is truly one of a kind, and when you read her book, and we'll get to the book as far as where you can get it as well, because I think people need to know where you came up with these characters. And before you get to the characters, though, I got to tell you were talking about all the different types of foods that you could eat, and my mother would get the most bizarre foods to serve me that I liked, but you don't give a kid sauteed calves brains, and let them take it to lunch at school. I already had a difficult enough time dealing with friends, and then from all of a sudden them going, "Hey, man, what are you eating?" "I'm eating calves brains." "Okay, don't come here no more." Okay. And so I didn't really need that in my life, but I was glad we would have a picnic. I know what Adrian's talking about. We would have a picnic. They would give us, most kids had a sandwich and an apple, maybe a banana. We had the sandwich. We had bread, sureki. We had eggs, hard-boiled eggs. It was a meal, not this other stuff. And I love the story that Adrianne told us about what it was like. But the characters of the book, Adrianne, tell me some of the ones that you truly fell in love with, because I know the ones that you highlighted. But what were your favorites that you want to discuss with the people out there that they can identify with?
Okay, well, these are not characters I had to make up. They were actually true people. They were actually my family. It's basically the funniest for me, and the ones that inspired me the most are my mother and her siblings that came over. Amazing characters. It was like being brought up by a character, someone like Danny DeVito and I can't think of, like the Golden Girls, being brought up by those. But mainly one of the characters is my mum's older brother. He was like an immature, even though he was older than her, very immature, winds people up. He was a practical joker. He was a bit short and a bit overweight, a bit sleazy, but he thinks he was God's gift to women. He was always drunk, always fighting, showing off, giving it the large, walking around with a double-breasted jacket and a trilby and making comments like, "Do you know that I beat up the Great twins? And I am more greater than Mussolini and Alexander the Great." And, things like that. And I headbutted the teddy boys. "Did you see me?" He was a right, show-off and giving it the large to everybody. Then there was this. You're going to recognise this one, Baz, because I brought this lady to your show, Marika. She was my mum's older sister. a very lazy. Well, I said she was lazy, but she wasn't lazy. She was very hardworking, but quite narrow-minded, quite stubborn, quite prudish, but with a fantastic sense of humour. She always got her siblings into trouble and made them take the blame for it. Made very cutting remarks. Remember meeting her at one of your concerts?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When I met I met your, was it your mom and her two sisters, right? And I think they came, I can't remember. Was it your mom and two sisters? I can't remember.
It was my mum's sister and her neighbour. All in their late 80s, by the way. Yeah.
And they were checking me out. And I think one of them pinched my butt, to be quite honest with you, because I am that cute.
You were actually going around the room asking if, trying to set up one of the people in the room, a bit of audience participation, and you asked if there was any single ladies in the room. And of course, my auntie's a little bit deaf, and she saw everyone put their hand up, and she put her hand up too. She didn't realise you were asking. She didn't realise you were asking if there was any single women in the audience. She just put her hand up just to do the same as everyone else. Do you remember? And everybody collapsed in the room when they saw an 87-year-old woman put her hand up to say she wanted to find a husband.
Well,
I think she made your show, Basile.
Yeah, she was on the prowl. No two ways about it. That's for sure. When you wrote this book, did you think it was going to be as successful as it was?
No, not in the slightest. I didn't think it was going to have that much of a success and people relating to it. Really, I wrote it because for my own family, for my own enjoyment, for my friends. I didn't realise in a million years that so many people were going to relate to it. I know it's an immigrant story, and a lot of immigrants around the world related to it. I was completely overwhelmed.
Because it must have been something fantastic for you to see how everyone identified with you and your family. It wasn't the big fat Greek wedding, as it were, where it was a comedy. It was also a lot of drama and a lot of heartache. And I love when I read about, because everyone goes through heartache, and we can identify with that. And when I read your book, I read it twice. I think I told you I read it twice because I wanted to make sure that I really truly understood, and you described it so wonderfully. How was it? I mean, I'm sure you must have had fantastic reviews when it was actually reviewed. Tell us about some of those.
Well, yeah. In 2011, it was a bestseller. It came 11th in the bestseller list for one whole week. It became quite a sensation with all different nationalities around the world, and some of those common reviews I got was, I couldn't put the book down. I thought you were writing about my life. It was nostalgic. It took me down memory lane. You can read them. They're on Amazon still, and once they started to come through, I thought, wow, I really never expected that when I was writing the book. And I wasn't just overwhelmed by the fact they're all different nationalities, Italians, Irish, Jewish, Maltese, Indians. I wasn't just that. It became quite. It got a lot of publicity, and it even got reviews from academic lecturers, Greek lecturers. One of them said the book is valuable literally as well as a sociological work, which is useful to people studying the history of Greek. So that was a right honour. And then also the Archbishop Grigoros over here wanted to meet me and congratulate me on the book, and he said it was an expertly woven book put together in a lovely tapestry of events, which appears to be extraordinarily entertaining. I mean, what an honour. I even went to my mum. My mum's a very religious woman, and I said to her, listen, even the Archbishop is loving it, Mum. It's so lovely. She goes, okay, lovely. So when are you coming to change the ketons?
I love that.
Did you hear what I just said? Yes, okay.
Nice.
What are you cooking for dinner tonight? So
I love it.
These people bring you back down to earth. They bring you back down to earth. They won't allow you to boast in any way. She'll just bring you down.
God forbid. Now I know that you were. I know that you were discussing, and you're in the middle of for the film, and you're already dealing with directors and producers and stuff like that. What's going on? What is the status of the movie? If you could tell me.
Yeah. We got to a point. A UK producer picked up the book and read it and said it would make a lovely film. And we got we had quite a few script writers that were keen to do the script. We had a lovely script done. We managed to get an amazing and executive producer in New York to do it for us, and a director. It was all going really, really well, Basile, and then unfortunately, like all these things, and I really don't know anything about the film business, we couldn't raise any of the funding, really. We raised some of it, but not enough. And also, we wanted to get assistance from Cyprus, but they had no film incentives or anything. So in the end, we couldn't raise financing. So
it's still up in the air.
We went back to square one now. We're back to the beginning, where we are now. We've had to reduce the budget and do a much smaller script with a much smaller budget, and we're now looking to find a producer to take it over for us. That's where we are at this stage.
Let me ask you real quick: where can people get the book right now? Is there? Please tell us. Is there, where you're located?
In America, Basile, they can only get it. They can only download it on Kindle on Amazon. So if they go onto Amazon and they look up the name, which is "Do You Know Who I Am?" Adrianne Roy, they'll be able to download it on Kindle. There's no Amazon don't distribute from here to America for some reason. I don't know why that is, but they can get it on download.
And folks, for those of you who are listening and viewing, please, when I tell you this is a great book, look, I hate reading sometimes, but I read this book twice, and you are definitely not only simply a beautiful person inside and out, you're a tremendously talented writer, and I want to thank you so much for being on our show. Adrianne, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon when I come up. I'm planning a tour in the UK. And thank you so much for being part of the show, sweetheart.
No, thank you for having me. I'm the one that should be thanking. Thank you so much.
No, you're very, very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to listen every week on Tuesday. We have wonderful guests like Adrianne Roy from 6 to 7 p.m. New York City time. You can be heard all around the world on americamatters.us. If you're using the TuneIn app radio, TuneIn app on radio, just search America Matters and be sure to keep it on your favorites. You are indeed listening to A Pinch of Basile. Have a great week.